Today I thought to talk about what's the life. Mm, you may have belonged to different religious background perspective. What's really the life mean? Mm, this would be a like kind of initiative about the discussion, what I've been intellectually reflecting and studying sometime, practice over the time. What I thought about this would be benefited for somebody throughout their journey. So the life itself, it's bodily formation. Obviously, we can see visually and tangibly, and also a mind, body and mind. That we can see accumulation of physical body, and then the mind or soul, a thought process. Yeah. So that's these two together. So as a being, human or animal. So we had to be really reflect on these two things, and then a realization of how the body is accumulated or over the period of time where the life started, from two cell to multiple cell and multiplying, and then this accumulation is happening through the process, and then we become like a human in from very smaller to a bigger, and then start dying, which is like somewhat similar to a tree, where that start from one sprout, one nut, and then become it smaller, and then it become two leaves, and then become bigger, and then become a big tree or smaller certain type of tree, and then over the time, and after a certain time, it will be vanish. So the human body is pretty much the same, exactly at the nut cell. Or we think like, oh, we eat that and we get that medicine and this thing, that thing, we do that surgery, and we can manipulate it. Yeah, that's exactly, certainly yes, but we had nobody ever forever like haven't go through like the process. So I'm not sure who's interesting about this. I thought about to share this thought. It will be benefited for somebody for the awakening from their spiritual journey, no matter where we are, like, or what we're doing, or what education, or which background, or sort of, we all human being or animal being, or we are in a different era of life, not really understand the ground reality, truth, even coming from which any religious background. So the first thing to be understand as who we are, like as a being, as a human being, or obviously human being can be understand this and that compared to the animal being. The being human, we need to be understand what the body formation is accumulated, and then throughout the process, and in the entire lifetime. And then the other thing is the soul, or the thought process, soul, how that happening. That's also accumulated process, and that's also it's like a wave upon wave, or thought upon thought of it, continuously piling one after the other, and then it's not it's like a continuous process, like a being, but we cannot see these two together, this mind, the soul, and then the body. These two together we call so-called I. That's pretty interesting. So we had to be kind of understanding. So I was keep thinking about this thing and reflecting upon by myself before reading and self, and reflecting, and then sometime maybe time to practicing, and then. But I thought about to express my view or my understanding or what I experience about with this. Honestly, I'm not in video right now. I don't want to show up like, and I'm not a teacher, but what I experience is what I seen, realizing is kind of important, very important. What the modern life, like we seen as a human, and what we manifesting. Do we at least try to understand what is ground reality? Are we existing? Like, is that human? Is that a human, me or I, you, existing forever? Or how are we going to exist forever if you have a death, certainly, and then obviously we will be born, and then the soul will be going somewhere, and then the soul will be planted again as a tree. So this will be happening forever unless we understand the ground reality about this process. So the biggest, I think, the bodily formation can be understand. Certainly we can think about, but we can reflect, we can practice on it, and then we can firmly realize and we come to a realization. This is how's the body. It will be existing for a certain time, from the birth to the death, and then the mind is the thing. We make ourselves like I, so-called I. That's my that's what I seen from the religious point of view and from the spiritual point of view, for no matter which religious we are belong to. So it's very important to understand what's my soul, and what is the blindness, why we are not understanding this thought process, or is continuing from every day, like from birth to the death, like every day from morning to the sleep, and then wake up, and then so what we're doing in a day-to-day, no matter what work we are doing, for just everybody doing different type of work for the survival purpose. I don't know. It's so funny. People be so divided to be honestly to be show up like, say, I am in this kind of position, this kind of work, and this kind of wealth, or some certain things are accumulated, and to be show up to the other, and then that's so blind. It's so blind. As a human being, I'm ashamed, like I'm shy to be a human being, to be show up like that kind of life to be other people. Like, I do certainly living that kind of life, but I am between that time to be. Why don't we understand in this ground reality? Today I thought to speak out a little bit this, but not me. I'm not a teacher. There are lots of, certainly really good teachers, those who really dedicated to bring up this and then to the people. So please, I am really humbly begging everybody to just reflect on what's the life I mean, because we're not sure we will be born as a human again. Like, it's because I know my father was really into Buddhism and become a monk at some point, and then become a lay person, and then been living in the very good, certainly good, not harmful to anybody, or sort of like a monk he was living. In village people knowing that. So, but in the end, when he's passed away a couple of months ago, and then I realized, but even though he didn't touch the spiritual major important point, I was keep trying actually to show up the scientific, or like the reality, the ground reality, what we have to see. The reality means like the things as they are, like the bodily things. For example, we didn't make the body, honestly. It's we born just because of what our soul came to the right, and then we cannot build up our body, honestly. It's happening. It's just the bodies keep functioning, right? The food and other air in breathing is keep happening. Food just is the it gets requesting, and then we feed it up, and then the body is existing. If we like the thought process also keep going, we are not I don't think so like we are differentiate from other animal, like other animal who does the same thing for the living, right? So the spiritually, I mean, like from the point of, so if we keep eye on into be understanding this process keep going forever. If you spend a little bit of time to be understanding, I don't think we can practice all the, let's say I'm actually coming from Buddhist background, and then if you look at it, even Buddhist or any other religious, they have practices and spiritual journey, but some of them like lots of practices, lots of things to be calculated, built up. But I don't know this or everything we can build practice in a single this short of lifetime, because we are engaging with some other work, and then we have a little time. So at least if I say from Buddhist perspective, what Buddha really said from the nutshell, from the true reality. If you try to be understand that, that would be really a game-changing thing. To be what kind of blindness we are in, right? We are really kind of blind, not understanding the ground reality, how the soul is existing, why so-called I is manifested by myself, not anybody else, created me. I created by myself, especially by this we call soul I. That I is the big thing. So if you try to be understand who is the I, like for example, obviously the body is not the I, right? So we can see it's the physical the accumulated thing. Then the mind is the other thing. I think during the process where we really understanding these two things are two different things, but together existing, because of we are so blind to not to be able to understand these two things separately. So then the biggest thing I think to be understanding the so-called I. Yeah. So I is the thing. So that ego, the blindness, see me, I existing, like see that's me, kind of identity, like creation. If you have a thought about this, or you can share with this as a comment, sort of. I believe I will let keep to comment. So hopefully you guys thought about a little bit about this. We'll see when I get a time. I will weighing on these two things, especially about the soul. How we going to be, that really need to be work on in this life, because it's a life is I feel like even when I talked to my father, actually he was passing away 83 about a couple of months ago. So I guess before that I was telling him, when you have one day to live, what do you think about? Like, do you think even single day any of us like have extra one day to live? Don't you put a one step towards to be understand this ground reality, the truth? Even now, my mother is coming again 82 plus, so she's getting really kind of hard time to back in Sri Lanka go. I was asking her too, like same thing. I know it's sad, but I know you are going to go away from us. Like, so how do you spend every day? Like, how would you mind to? But I was actually talking like this to them, like I think has 5-10 years around. I really try to push them into to be understanding what is the reality ground understanding. So yeah, like very interesting. So to be understanding is this I is a very blindful blindfully weak. I by myself created it's nobody created, honestly. No God or no Buddha or anyone created it. Somehow we created, and we clinging into that, and then it keep going forever. So during this lifetime, if we can keep some step as much as keeping some steps towards to be fully understanding, realization, complete realization is the liberation. So it should be happening in by reflecting, understanding, reflecting, reflect and thinking, and then putting into practice with some techniques, and will eventually leading into be understanding up to a certain level. Probably we might need a teacher, actually, who's a teacher who already go through this. People call, the teachers also so-called as a journey, so a step by or sort of a process. Well, like even upon the Buddhist community, from different teachers, I actually try to explore. I explore honestly with different teachers. While I work and while I do engaging in adulting, the normal life. Still I am. Different techniques and different. They more and more about culturally. I would say sugar coated. It's the real thing is not coming out easily. That many cultural related, some of them are dragging into the you for ritual things like puja and stuff. So it help, like dana, puja and things, I think obviously help, but not really. It's not the ground truth. The ground truth has to be come out from the by opening up the eye, like the mind, and try finding like who I mean, like, is there any I? That's, I think, the biggest question we need to ask by ourselves. Is there any I? Is that I is existing forever, or that we can eliminate, like, or we can get rid that I concept, the so-called I understanding, or the blindness, the blindly belief. Actually, it's a belief. It's a so-called belief. It's so solid, and I don't know, even I like talk like this, or maybe reflect or thinking, or some people actually, I don't know, some some monks actually very popular right now, they are like a scientific approach, like they step by step process, they break down to no number of steps and process, and by taking some I don't like to name those because it's not nice, I mean it's not good, so I'm not criticizing as well, but for us, like, we has to be to be understand, because different people, different teachers might have different capabilities, obviously, right? So for me, I have different capabilities, abilities to be explained or understanding. So, but they're doing great job. But for us to be explorer, I think the Lord Buddha also explored to many different teachers, and then try to be intellectually be understanding. Okay, who are the closest teachers, and I mean to be engaging. This will be a very interesting thing. I'll be not come to, I mean, to the face. We don't need to be identify each other, because this is not to be I mean, interesting topic, but this is not to be like to be identify me, who am I. It's not the point, because we have to be, this journey is like literally not to be identified who am I, or to be popular or famous, or no, not that. This is a very different process. Like at the end, what I see, what I talked to my mom like recently, what you have to keep trying actually to be to be like literally to be vanish, or like to be not to be you, like before you end up with your life, because she's 82. So 82 plus. So I know certainly in certain time she will be not anymore with us. So that's how the life, right? So my father was like that. So I was trying to say, like, so literally, if you can liberate by how you can liberate by literally, so you are not going to be identified by yourself. But I mean, like, you might need lots of practices. It's dependent on where we are, right? So in which, let's say, I don't know, I don't like to say some people, I mean, some spiritual leaders. I'm not a spiritual leader, honestly. I'm not at all. I don't know, be identified. Why is that's a stupid thing? We label, like, some people, oh, is that a soul? Oh, is that a arahat? Not really. Is that not important? It's not a position. I mean, like, okay, we go to these temples and different temples. Really, these temples and some other peoples, like, they want to be named, but like titles, like this is titleless, right? So we don't need to be labeled like is that kind of, but people who are understanding from their perspective, their abilities, they understand who is, and it's not important to be understand who is the whether in what, but the most important thing is the message. I mean, I like to stick to, I like not to stick to any religious, but obviously I had to go back to Buddha, because somehow that's the vision, I get it. So we really need to see what really Buddha said from the nut self, like from the ground level, like I thought to have this kind of discussion, bring it up, like when it's possible to be go live, and then not to be show up like, oh, I know this and that, like something. No, really. But I like people. Honestly, being I really want to see people. Like, we human being to be progress on this journey. Honestly, I mean, how much suffering we are. Like, I mean, we say, oh yeah, we are in this country, that and that position, this, and I am like this. We always like try to show. I mean, oh, still, I am, yes, I, so-called I too. But I am, but in between that, I'm thinking it's like how fake that is, honestly, from the ground reality truth, right? So we, yes, I mean, obviously we need to enjoy the life. We have to do whatever we like it. It's not really the point. The point is like, as a human being, as a human, when we are going to realize this ground reality, especially the soul, like me, I, right? Yeah, so that's the whole point today, and further we can discuss, I think. Yeah, probably I can, you can comment, I don't know, probably if I did any mistakes, or you can comment in on it, then I seen some nice videos and talks and some other monks, obviously, and then some, actually, you know what, we can go to the original sutra. So there was a monk, actually I should mention his name, I think, because he's a great scholar monk, Vimala Ramsey, Bhante Vimala Ramsey, I think Missouri state. He been teaching indifferently, and then he met a Sri Lankan monk, forget the name. He was in North America at some point. Somehow he met that monk, and then he was saying, okay, I understood, but that monk, Sri Lankan monk, was saying to him, like, okay, why don't you go back to the original script of Buddha's, like a sutra? So then he said, I was in that conference in Science Center in Torio, 2017, I think. He said this monk was, and then he has a lot of videos actually. So his teaching is kind of different, different. So people believe he's spiritually developed, and his teaching also kind of different. But he's very interesting. So he was saying, I went to the, I was feel shame, like I was 20 years about, he was 20 years about teaching, but then suddenly realized how he was wrong, and then he started to follow the sutra, and then from sutra he started to teach meditation. He's a meditation monk. So yeah, that's one of the monks, and then I met some other monks time to time. Yeah, so again, my point of view is like, be to the point. If we go to the point, rather stories and other things, please try to be questioning yourself. Say, oh, who's the I? Just I is the is the manifested, manifested. I mean, belief. Actually, it's a wrong belief. The existing of I. We can talk about that enough, I think, over and over again. What's the shame of, like, what is the fake belief of I? Just think about, please. I just certainly thought about time to time. Yes, it's actually not self. It's nothing. This is my I haven't realized. I'm not gonna, don't label me, oh, I'm doing this, I will become a monk or something like that. No, I mean, this is not the point of, like, whether I'm a monk or whether I'm a normal person or whether I'm doing that thing or this thing. No, it's not really important. It's the important thing is the message, what even Buddha and others, some teachers bring brought up to us. So that's what I said, like, I'm not instructing, I'm just saying, right? So we all divided, very divided, like, I don't know how stupid we are divided by some people are I don't know, the well educated some people are also divided into, okay, I'm belonging to that monk, I'm following him, and then I feel he's the one best or whatever. I mean, yeah, he can say that, but I mean, and then sometimes say, oh, I'm belong to that temple or but that teacher or that lineage or something. But maybe I mean, it is obviously he understand that his point of ability to understand, or the way he and approach to the Dhamma is from that teacher is good for him. But some other person is good to have good for a other teacher or other technique. So we all have to try, no matter what teacher or what techniques. But the thing is that if he's stuck in the different wrong techniques, I don't know, right? Because we cannot criticize different teachers or different religions or things like that, right? So if you keep trying to, because I mean, at the end, what we expecting, I mean, again, we have to say expecting, like obviously we need to be achieving. I mean, whether we need to achieve is a kind of another question, but to be realizing, say, this blindness is nothingness, like pretty much like an empty, something not existing, right? So the so-called I or body, the soul, at some point, we don't know what lifetime, when we born, at some point, we will be realizing, but how many lifetimes do we have to pass? That's a big question, right? And then, do we know, like, we will born again as a human? It's a very big question, because some of the experience what I experienced from my father, like he is known to be, like, people saying he's a monk, because as he become a monk and nearby monastery, he become a monk and then become a lay person again, and but he was reading the sutra and stuff, like, but he wasn't meditating necessarily, but he was keep talking about Dhamma, and people were saying he's like a monk. But I know his last couple of days how he were struggling. But before that, I was telling him, please be careful. I mean, you had to be understanding this thing. So that and some other incident led me to, and I was thinking actually to talk about this in publicly, but without showing my face or whatever. It's not a really important, my face or something. So the important is like the message, whoever bring the message to you every day, if we can, while we engaging in our day-to-day activities, to be understanding this. They are actually really good techniques, meditation techniques. The important is like if we have a teacher, if you select a teacher and then meditation. I mean, somebody who a teacher, whoever the teacher who already achieved to a certain level is really helpful, because the certain teachers who already achieved to a certain stages mean realization, right? Certain firmly not understand, which realize, who realize person can, or noble person can direct us to a question. Actually, I've seen the questioning they are keep more monitoring. Actually, that's really help, because we some of the technique, or we are like winding, and we spending time on on meditation, and at the beginning meditation look like for most of the people like painful. I mean, difficult thing to be getting into, but it's, I mean, before meditation or while meditation, or you need to be reflect and be reflect on the ground reality, going to the truth. That's why I started, like, I mean, the nature, supernatural nature, like who are we existing, or some really we want some of them are really thinking like we want existing forever. Really? That's a big question. What's the point of, if somebody really want existing forever? Oh, well, it's up to them, right? So for me, I'm thinking, like, really, I mean, it's way, but some people really practicing. I met a guy, he's a senior person in here community. He's known to be Dhamma a lot, from English and Sinhala, and then, and in his last age, and I was talking to him even sometime midnight, and then tried to show up him, you had some bypass and some other thing. So I was, how people are clinging into the life, I mean, try to see, right? So he been living in a good life here. So it's in 80s, 80, I think 82, 85 something. So I try to show him, like, see, before you pass away, I mean, pass away. I mean, I just said, I directly say to him, like, I mean, you will be going at some point. So before you going, at least if you have one more extra day to live, what you would like to do? Like, you want to keep one step ahead to this thing, and to you realize. He wasn't really agree, and then he's knowing we call Abhidhamma, like insight meditation, and plus then he theoretically, like, just talk, he knows, but he never meditated. He can talk about Dhamma long. I mean, I wouldn't really like to talk about Dhamma, like, but why I came up online, like, publicly, just from long time, I was reflecting on this, and sometimes practice, sometimes follow the teachers, and read out a little bit, sometime, and then met some people, and then because to highlight, like, to say, like, why we really to be focus on this, really. I've seen also interesting people, really, but I don't really, as I said, I mean, I don't really show my face or anything, and I don't want to be public to be identify me, who I am, or whatever. I try to be away from that, and I'm not a teacher as well. I'm not to be like that, but I try like to show. But I feel like so sad, like when some friends or some other people, like, suddenly pass away and something. Actually, not suddenly. I mean, one of the friend, I was talking to him, like, before, I think 2-3 weeks before he passed away, and then he was saying to me, like, oh my goodness, I didn't thought about at all about this kind of thing. I said, be happy, be whatever you feel. I mean, that's what I can say at that time. I mean, again, I'm not blessed to give him a blessing or something like that. I didn't know, but even if that's his last 2 weeks something. But I was I kind of certainly thought about maybe in this, because of his situation, maybe something was helpful, but I said, we don't consider. But what I actually said to him, he was with cancer, struggling with some cancer. So I was saying to him, hey, don't think about your body. I was just talking to him like a friend, like, I mean, obviously he's my friend, by incident back in time. But I said, hey, don't think about your body. Like, the body is not your body. It's not really. It's a shame. I mean, obviously me, I like to keep my body shaped nicely, clean, I mean, like, beautiful and so on. But in between that, we had to reflect on, really, this body is not me. It's not me, right? And then who I am, this I, so-called I is a blind concept, right? So that's this blind concept is keep going, right? So it's not we accumulated that. So I was asking him, actually, it's again, I had to come to Buddhism. I mean, like, because this all came from Buddhism. So this called Vedananupasana, right? Vedananupasana, if you break down these two words, Vedananupasana, so you can focus on your pain, right? So I was asking him, just don't identify your pain as you. Actually, there was there was a couple of monks and other people that were saying like how important, especially when somebody who's going through the journey and difficulties. I mean, like how we going to be understanding how pain is different. The pain is not me, really. Its pain is just happening. It's we can surprise with them. We can reduce, or we can with some medicine and things like. But still, pain may be mental. Pain we cannot be very hard, right? So with medical, but somehow we had to deal with the pain. So then, when the pain sensations comes, actually the bodily pain sensation, when it comes, we can, if we pay carefully, attention to that each. I mean, like if you go to insight meditation, vipassana meditation, if you really calm your mind and then focus on your sensations, any sensation or you receive, you get it. That obviously receive to. We feel it, right? We can distinguish each and every, and then it's happening so fast, like millions of. Some of them don't. I think I'm trying to tell, like, this is not. I'm not a teacher. I'm not. There's a teacher. There are teachers more than me, like very scholar monks and some other lay people. I'm not like to be identified as a teacher or like, but I'm trying to be kind, like to be human beings, like to be anybody who's living in this life before we finish up this life, to be keep some steps towards to be understanding the ground reality, the true reality, the true nature of the eye, this blind eye. So so the pain also, some people consider as a pain also very good meditation technique to be understanding the life. What is the life? I mean, pain is a sensation, as in, if you back to that pain is like a signal, like the pulse, and sort of keep pinning. If you clearly focus on that pain, actually that pain's feeling is always fading, like sort of like not really profound, like in certain difficult situations, like especially in a death, closer to the near death experience. I hear some explanation about that, how that's why it's very, very important who are about to be experienced the near death, close to that, and we had to be let them know about how good. But I mean, why, like, do we have to wait till we come to the death? No, before that we had to be practiced at that. How we going to deal with the pain as a thought, or pain as a sensation, to be experience the pain as a pain as a pain, and focus on it, keep focusing on it, on the pain. It's a good time if you have a headache or a severe headache, and you can keep focusing on each and every pain sensation, and then experience, not to actually what we usually do, we are dealing with that, we struggling with that. We don't have to struggle. If the pain has to be there, I mean, let it be there. Not, don't take it as you. Just let it be there. If before it's even just, it's actually grasping us. Don't let it grasp. So why? Because I mean, this is the thing. Like, so that's why I think we try to make things everything I, right? We want to be I existing. So if you are having a thought about, not the general thought, but some people say, oh, I don't have any desire sort of some people saying, oh, I don't have any desire to be accumulated this much things, physical things. So, well, just generally people say, oh, I don't have religion, I just living and just but still that's good. But that's not the level. We have to go deeper into couple of level of deeper into the you'll hear something when some I actually had some experience I can experience, but again I'm not the like superior like spiritually. I'm not always spiritually developing in this during this time, actually not that much. I was before, certain amount, but I mean, again, say I recently I was on highway. It was my mistake, but it's a stupid thing. I was taking picture something, and then I very close to the front car, so I noticed within, I think maybe in a 2 seconds or 1 second, but I start to slam on the brake and then nearly stop, without hitting to the other. So and during that 2 second time, I feel like my breath is like going always up. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, so I feel like how so-called high is like, I don't want to be literally die in the situation. Like the one more second is good enough, actually, literally to have severe damage to the front of the car. So, so that kind of moment, it really tells us like how much we are clinging to the so-called I, right? So that's the experience, that kind of experience. So yeah, well, if we deeper going into the I mean, like this blindfold understand, the thought process happening, it keep happening. It's never ending. So because another thing, it's keep happening. It's I don't think some teaching or some so I hear that they logically like explaining, like say me, I am explaining here, but I would say actually when I meet another teacher a couple of years ago, so he was he's not actually teaching. I think you guys heard about Burmese, right? I think Burmese, I heard about that, but actually I went to Burmese Center when I was in Vancouver, by the harbour area, like I think you say Albert here, I think no, it's not here. Albert Tang, he was my friend at that time. We were going there and we were logically reasoning. And then actually that what the interesting thing, there's Burmese people, when we met up at the center, we into the center, and then as soon as we get there, we get the mattress and stuff, we sit down, we start meditating like 45 minutes. At that time that's the time I would start to meditate straightforward, like 45 minutes. That was, I think, 2013, I think 2013. So that's what I realized, like Burmese people are not giving speech like we, I think some, we as a Buddhist, if again I have to come to the Buddhist, otherwise I don't want to be to name it as like this is belong to one religious or one perspective, not really. So so that's the point. I understand that they are straight to the meditation, reflect on this thing, about the straight to the insight meditation. So using some insight meditation techniques. So, but most of the time, other than that, other temples or religious leaders are mostly giving lots of speech. Actually, fortunately, if we can get together and sit down, and at least from first thing, what I would think about, just to hearing any talks from somebody, like doesn't matter who is talking. To be start to think about it, and then reflecting, and then again reflecting, keep reflecting, and then to the deeper level, and between that to be putting into some certain practice, some techniques. I don't know. We have to cross leg and sitting. It's up to them. I mean, it's up to anybody. I mean, I would think about, certainly we use certain techniques, which techniques are actually help, like say inhaling meditation, even pain related meditation, focusing on the pain, or the bodily formation. These are actually, I'm not getting into the techniques, but I will see if you are interested in commenting and how people are interesting. But I think I don't have to be, say for example, inhaling meditation. I don't have to tell, because everybody we know about inhaling meditation, right? So and pain meditation also exists. And now sutra and then original scripts also existing, pretty available. We can. So only thing is to be focused on this, especially reflecting on the as I said, at the beginning of this talk about like body and mind, just understanding how the body is just accumulated thing. Right, so bodies just keep happening. Like I never make the body, or you never make the body. Bodies just it's happened because of karmic cycle. We meant to be born as a human, and it happened. And then from 1, 2 cell, 3 cell, couple of become thousands, and finally become million. I actually, I don't know, I sometime maybe mentioned some teacher's name. One of the teacher in India, pretty popular, he was saying, like, say you eat piece of bread, and then in a certain time that bread become you. I was actually reflecting on it. That's what he said. Say, imagine like you eat a bread or rice piece of bread or rice or any food, and we eat it, and then at maybe 2-3 hours after digestion cycle, and then that become me, right? Because do we say when we see the bread or apple or something, a banana, something, is that me? No, we're not saying that me, right? It's a banana, it's apple, right? And then once we eat it, and then it becomes to our bloodstream, and it become energy, and then it become elements, right? That element become me, right? So that's how our body is existing. So actually there was another, somebody was talking, I don't know whether I'm good to explain about that, but he was explaining like how we are, our whole body thing is transferring from one, say at certain cycle, I think some certain time, let's say certain time, our body is not the same as say my body, my physical body is not the same as last year to this year. Actually, it's changed. It's if you think about like a breath, right? We take one breath, and then it goes to the smaller molecules, and then right to that level, and taking out that air back again, and these all smaller cells in our body, or millions of cells existing, right? So that existing because of our breathing and food and stuff, right? So we made that. Do we make this everything? No, really. We put some medicine, yes, and certain things, but the body is existing as it is. I mean, if you look at it, we open our eye, and how blindfold we are. Like we are thinking like me as a big character. Like at one time, that same teacher was saying, I'm living in this planet as one person, right? How many of us, and then how many of these kind of planet, galaxies, and so on, right? How small we are, like just and then but we are thinking like me, I thinking, even me myself. I'm not try to say me I am a like big person. No, please. I'm just trying to put in my word and things like. So it's like me, I see the world like me, I see the world, and I think me, it's everything happening within me, so-called I, actually. Right? So everything happening with so-called I. And then do we need to think about, for me, about like me, I actually, obviously when we spending our time, day to day, in the ordinary life, yes, we had to be this all things. But if we spend a little bit time to we understand this more and more, get enough time to be reflect on this in this very life, and when our faculties and everything is strong, and if you are especially young, it's really good worth to be spending time. Very interesting. So I would like to have even group discussions, something like that, or actually more and more important, I would really beg even to be reflecting on this and putting time on that, and then even if I don't think we can practice all of the meditation techniques. No, I don't think I have practiced. I practice only one or two. It's one or two is good enough if you are going into deeper level. But I haven't gone. But if I have, I will try. I try the best. But this help actually. This engaging in this discussion helped me to develop. This encouraged me to develop, and as well as for other people, other guys to develop as well. So that's why if we gather to this kind of discussion with a certain time, specified time, when possible, will enable possibility to each and everybody, right? Well, interesting. So I was thinking to go public and talk about this, but I've been silently, not publicly. I don't want to be, I wasn't sharing lots of posts and publicly, things like that. And I don't want to be identify me as any spiritual thing, but I want to be identified, to be knowing other people, to be keep eye on this and then reflect on this, that, and then ultimately to be understand this is so-called really blind I. So then we have a very limited time in this our lifetime to be, I don't know whether we can understand. But that again, a question, I don't know, I was asking some of this question, even Bhante Vimalaramse, but he passed away. He was telling me, actually, I was met him maybe 2017, right? I think 2017. He was telling, in this very life, we can become a Arahat, finish up the journey, and according to his teaching. And then don't know honestly, because because this original talk came 2,500 years ago from Lord Buddha, right? Or some other teachers too. But the thing is that message, how much it's changed. So we heard about there were great scholar, monks, and beings are liberated when they met Buddha at short time. I think Bahia is one of the, I think at about short term, he heard only 2-3 statements from Buddha and then become Arahat. We heard about, but the story go back to saying he become Arahat in a short time when after meeting Buddha and listening to and reflect on it, and sort of meditation, I would say. But before that, in his past few lives time, he really putting time on to meditation, or in this, he's matured enough to be to a good level when in this last life when he met Buddha. This again is not another thing. Some people are thinking, okay, this is a journey. This has to be step by step, step by step process, breaking down to step by step. We will develop certainly dana and metta or some other thing in this life, certain amount. But I don't know how many lifetime we need to born. The biggest question, do we know we will born as a human next time? I'm very uncertain, because I think I certainly verified. Please verify. If you guys verify, please comment. These are the questions we need to be addressed. obviously not, I mean, yes, obviously some people, most of the people in this Western or other world, like more people about, okay, what is the next biggest position I'm going to go to, what highest rank or highest wealth or highest physical things accumulated. Yeah, we can do that, yes. And between that, think about this short lifetime. And then this big question, what I was into ask, like, say last, I think we all certainly know, I think when we passing away, the last thought process help to, I mean, is the one direct to the next life. That is the one decide the next life. So that mean I think couple of monks was saying, I heard about different talks. It's saying like even we did good karma, it doesn't mean we're going to be born as a human, right? The most important being as a human, not even like a god, but there are some realms like God maybe or Brahma or something, they can practice, but practice or to be understand the Dhamma practice, but especially say practice or come to Dhamma world. Coming to Dhamma world is very difficult thing, right? That's the point, right? When we born again, because this is like our vehicle, right? Our body is like a vehicle. It exists in certain time. So then we had to get another vehicle. I mean, can we whether we able to take that? The vehicle is our formation, right? The human formation. Human formation is the blessing thing, and then it has to be born as a Buddhist sort of. I mean, obviously we heard about if we cultivate certainly Buddhist related this spiritual thing, obviously it is not going to be loose, right? So whatever practices, whatever steps we keep, that will be bringing to obviously it's like a good and bad karma, right? Good karma and bad karma, both we bring it, right? So the spiritual practice, spiritual abilities also will bring to the next life. Obviously we will be born as human, but the thing is, that's the thing, like if we in the last thought process in our lifetime, if we peacefully able to manage that last few process, number of thoughts or whatever, certain thoughts, and we can, I believe strongly, that again need to be verified, we have a choice. We can select, or whether I want to be born as a human or as a god or something. That's our wish sort of. But this is very important. How many people who's dying are able to manage last couple of thoughts peacefully, happily? As I explained, I mean, like we give up this vehicle and then getting another vehicle kind of thing. I'm very doubting, because when I see my father's passing away, things like I wasn't there, but I seen from camera. I certainly reflect, and during the last couple of days, because he was like a monk, he become a monk and become a layperson, and then he practiced, he read out, and he didn't practice meditation, but he reflect and he talk about, he knew Abhidhamma and sort of depending for origination and step of process, but theoretically, sort of like theoretically and explanation and sort of thing, explaining to other people and so on and so on. But he didn't put it into the practice. That's why I'm saying we here talking is not really important. Better to put it into the practice. It's a much important thing. I put it certainly. Honestly, I had to say that. I shouldn't lie, right? So I should put it certainly, but not these days, like these couple of years. But before, I would love actually put it back again to the practice if it is really. But certainly, if I'm reflecting again, but I was reflecting. So again, how especially like a pain meditation. If we practice pain meditation at the last, and we obviously like pain meditation. And this skillful ability to manage the last thought process skillfully. I mean, again, how become skillfully we're going to manage is who really know what is the life mean, and really understanding not to be like foolish, like to be keep the body as forever. No, We have to let it go when the time comes. We don't want to push it to be die, or we shouldn't actually try to keep it. I don't know, like how. Yes, we should. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, okay, I'm not saying to be suicide. Like, I mean, suicide means it's a stupid thing. Like, whoever. I mean, I don't think nobody is thinking about that. But I mean, like, body is existing as it is. We can have some medicine and some other things to be, make it, but it's not that long. Certain time we can keep it. But then, when the last thought process come, we had to be understand, whoever the person need to be understand, this is my body, my vehicle or my engine is running up to certain this time, and then there's a time will be stopping, like slowly. Right? So I seen in my father's body, actually, I look at it. I seen his some legs and hands as not functioning, and just only the breath is happening, and some little feeding and happening, and then conscious was there, and then so on. I'm saying, like, okay, so I didn't know about whether he managed the last thought, but I was keep talking to him like a couple of years ago to as much as, but he wasn't clearly because this is what I see is more technical process, like an engine, like a vehicle, right? Our bodily thing, and then our thought process is like also, certainly process, right? Keep happening. So if we are knowing this is happening, this is painful, this is suffering and things coming, that's why we have to see the pain meditation. When the mental pain or physical pain sensation comes, pay attention to the pain, just the pain, not to be identified by myself. The biggest thing is we are always putting I. That's we cannot avoid, I mean, unfortunately. But if we are skillfully, intelligently, and careful, like focusing on this, who is this I? Like, why is this I is always jumping to that? I mean, I is a blindfold thing. It's trying to play over here. No, let it, let it him be away, whatever, it's empty actually. So at the end, what we're going to realize is nothing, emptiness, like physically not existing anything. It's like a formation that's happening, keep happening, and then mind, our so-called I is going to be vanish slowly, fading and vanish, and finally to the end, like it should be not existing anymore at all, like a non-self. Yeah, I seen some teachers, I don't know, they're talking like a non-self. They know, I don't know, like if you guys want to comment me, I can name that teachers. But again, like when I say some teacher or when anybody name it, some people mostly going to say, oh, I did that teacher, I listened already, I don't think he's the right. Some people would really try to understand whether he's Arahat or whether he's so on or no. Why? It's not important. I'm like painful. We don't need to be identify what religious, what kind of person, or what kind of physical look, or even intellectually power, or how many sutra he knows, or how many degrees he passed. So it doesn't matter really, right? Because we are at the end to be understanding the right. Just emptiness, right? Just finally we are going into it's within us. Like, it's not with the Buddha, or it's not with the Arahat person or somebody who is realized. It's within us, the emptiness and things like that. But we are not accepting, or we not. That's again okay. So one of the monks was teaching and giving some practices, actually, giving some courses. So theoretically deducted, like a breakdown to the number of steps and process, and saying logically he's explaining by listening to his talks without the practices, you will be certainly realized. But I don't know. But most of the many people following, in especially Western and some other. It's actually coming from Sri Lankan monk. I don't know. I would tell you that much, but I don't know. Yes, it actually helps certainly. He takes some original sutra, and then this venerable monk was taking some sutra and did break down. See, this Buddha's time too. Only people listen and then become arhat, or sort of certainly stage, pass into different stage. Well, that's again. I mean, obviously we need to reflect, listen, reflect, understand, but firm realization will happen putting into some practices, and then over the time that vision or that realization, that blindness. So because we already know this is a foolish or like the biggest blindness. So that's why I think Buddha one time, I mean, there are many arahat, when they become arahat, they were saying statements. Those are statements in one sutra or somewhere. I don't know exactly where. There were many sutras, and it's called Udana Vakya or something. Like, it was because of when they liberated, they were so impressed. It's like when you get a degree or something, like you were like, when you get that and then you were so liberated, you express something, right? So that's something like that, express to show up that how is the feeling about liberation from this. So I think I cover up lots of things. So we'll see next time. We don't have to be scheduled, I think so, right? So because everything is impermanence. Okay, so let me put it 3 things, and we'll probably next talk we will have with these 3 things. So what I heard about 3 important things to be in order to achieve that. I mean, to be achieve so-called there's no I or sort of, but we can blindly think about, there's no I, like a mantra. But I don't think that will be that way. We will be liberated. So I think we need to go, and then again, I don't know whether we need to follow the many lifetime steps. But I mean, for example, there are people like say you want to become a Buddha, you want to be, I think, millions of lifetime, like kalpa, right? I mean, to be practice certain qualities and so on. But I don't think I don't want to be a Buddha or something, even some other, and then I don't want to be born again. I don't think so. Many of us want to born many times. So and there's a way I think certainly we can choose at least what we can do in this very life to be up to a certain level. At least to be when we passing away, at least to get the next vehicle, next body as we wish, as we want, right? The 3 things what I was thinking, or what I was telling actually, when at the beginning of the people say journey, say to become a Sotapanna or sort of, well, there should be there shouldn't be a path to, like, say, if you are going to realize the true ground truth, which is nothingness, technically we should be able to realize in a certain time, right? There shouldn't be stages or sort of. We don't have to, what I'm trying to say, we don't have to make certain stages like a path sort of. Why we are making a path, like, it doesn't make sense. But in the other way around, we cannot achieve this kind of thing. It's not achievement, it's not gaining again, right? So come closer to understand the ground reality. So it's not happening in a certain short time, right? So because from that point, like, there are 3 things we need to be. What is the 3 things? Impermanence of nature, non-self, and suffering. If we realize what I heard here from the sutra, some of the monks are saying, if we want to closer to the Sotapanna or become a Sotapanna, we definitely to be 100% realizing these 3 things. Non-self mean, obviously, non-self mean there's no I, right? There's no self. You can say no, then it's become zero, like something, right? So there's not infinite, like existing forever, There's not like that, or there's no zero, but there's a wrong belief system, like me, like I. That's what we, all the time we was talking. So that's the first thing. When we into firmly realization to non-self, what I hear about when we understand, realizing one thing, and it leads to the understanding the second thing, which is non-self, non-self suffering, and then the other thing. These three things are very important to be one. When we understand one thing, there's no non-self, and then that lead to be understand the other one, because understanding non-self is the kind of thing, right? It's a kind of really good achievement. So then during that time, other two faculties are obviously developing up to a very good level. I heard about mundane level, and medium, like certain stages. Actually, good experience teacher who already go through this path, who already realize this, I already know when we are talking with him or practicing under him, he knows it. So that's all about. I think I took a long time. I was thinking actually 10-15 minutes, but it took a long time. I wish everybody happy, and if I contribute certain things for all of you, please, I'm happy. We can comment, we can discuss, but putting into time is very positive. So yeah, here late night right now, 12:46. But I was keep thinking actually to make a video, and then I was thinking to write a script and properly, nicely. No, I thought, no, I just go take the camera and go, and then do it, right? So I do mistake. I might doing some mistake, but I think you get to my point. What I was trying to elaborate. Well. It's very interesting. Three of you guys, I know each other well. I think some other people will look at it. But I don't want to be identified myself. Like, please, if you want, we can have group discussion. I wasn't invite anybody, but well, I wish you guys happy and good night. And then to be closer to the one step in this journey. Have a very good, happy life and healthy. I'm going to finish up this record. We can maybe a little bit reflect the silent, which is to illustrate how is nothing. How is nothing or emptiness or is important. Okay, we'll quit. See you next time.